Welcome to Wctv. I'm Dalton Drager.
And I'm Jake Nellis. Today, we will introduce to you this year's Winterfest royalty and explore all of the activities that you can participate in this winter.
We will also sit down with Brandon Jessen to further understand his current predicament.
To be honest, Dalton, this is my first time appearing on Wctv, and I am a little nervous.
You're doing great, Jake. You aren't the only one that's nervous about something. Maya talked to the Winterfest court and discussed that four of them are anxious about the assembly on Monday.
Great. Take it away, Maya.
Let's take a look at this year's Winterfest court.
Well, I was like, really? Woohoo! Guess I should find a dress.
I thought, why can't the whole court wear sweatsuits?
I was shocked at first, but then I was thinking that I had to dress up for once.
I was really happy, but then I was like, oh God, I'm gonna fall in front of a bunch of people.
I was shocked and really nervous at the same time.
I was happy. I was like, cool. I was kind of shocked because I just make fun of people all the time.
I was surprised.
First one to fall will easily be Alex Christensen.
The blonde's gonna fall.
That one.
It'll be me.
Alex.
Pajama day.
Spirit day.
Just dressing up on Spirit Days.
When it's over.
Pajama day.
The pep assembly.
Men in suits.
Going out to eat.
Who's gonna win?
Morgan's winning.
Brandon Patton.
Brandon Patton.
And
No. Done Brandon Pat.
I don't know. We want to figure those.
This has been Maya J. Cox reporting for WCTV.
Thanks, Maya. It's great to know the court a little bit better.
Coronation will be included in the pep assembly on Monday at 2:30. Students will vote for the king and queen during lunch sometime next week.
Monday has been deemed Lazy Day.
I can't wait until next Friday. I love showing my school spirit on game day.
The Lynx basketball teams will be playing on their home court next Friday for the Winterfest game.
The Lynx fell to the Clear Lake Lions in Webster City on Tuesday.
The Lynx wrestling team will be at the NCC wrestling tournament this Saturday. Much to the team's disdain, Brandon Jessen won't be able to join them on the mats.
Brandon fractured his C1 vertebrae the weekend before Christmas.
Injured on a slam that was deemed illegal, Brandon followed the correct procedure to save himself from further injury. Chris Jorgensen has more information for us.
As soon as I hit the mat, all I could think to myself was, I'm done. My season's over. And then I started crying and freaking out, hyperventilating, and Joel Kennedy came right over me and said, "You're gonna be fine, Brandon. You're moving your legs. You're gonna be all right." The doctor came in and told my family and I that I had broken my C1 vertebrae, and you could just feel everyone in the room, just their hearts kind of sank. It was a very scary moment for all of us, very sad.
The C1 vertebrae is actually, another name for it is the atlas, and the reason it's called that is because it's the very top vertebrae in the cervical spine, and so it's the one that the skull sits on. So it supports the weight of the skull, and they call it the Atlas because in Greek mythology, Atlas was the guy who had to carry the globe. So it's kind of the replica of that in the skull or in the cervical spine, and that along with the Atlas, which is the second bone in the cervical spine, are basically what supports the head and allows the head to swivel and to go up and down. So it's a very critical, of course, structure in the neck. Again, it depends on which structure in his neck he broke. He actually, I guess in some ways, got lucky to break C1 instead of C2. If you go back and look at the anatomy, C2 actually has a little prominence that sticks up through the hole on C1, and if you break that off, that piece can actually sometimes go up into the brainstem and can obviously cause damage that way. The other thing is that the vertebral arteries, which feed the blood supply to the back half of the brain, come right up, and they're actually tethered in that bone. They're actually within the bone itself. So sometimes when a fracture happens, it will actually rip the lining of the vessel, or it'll actually cause, they were worried about him having a stroke initially for the first couple of days because of the potential for those bone fragments to get over where the blood vessels were. The other thing, of course, is that the spinal cord comes right down out of the brainstem and right down through the middle of that bone. So if it had broken and actually putting a piece of bone fragment up against the spinal cord, then yeah, he could have actually he could have been a quadriplegic, which means losing all muscle strength and tone in his upper and lower extremities. So he did get very lucky with not only the nature of the injury itself, but also with the care he got at the site when he got hurt.
I would say I definitely have a different look at life, just because I know how lucky I am to be here. It's really crazy that I survived that, because such a low percentage survive a broken C1 in their neck. So I'm very, very thankful for the people that helped me right away on the mat and get me out of there as fast as they could. Just really thankful to be here.
The initial reaction to Brandon's injury was overwhelmingly positive. From leaving a nice message on Brandon's Facebook or Twitter to throwing a bake sale to raise money for his recovery, the public was very nice to Brandon and his family. Brandon continues to have high spirits and a positive outlook on life. And for the record, he won his very last wrestling match.
Wow, Wctv wishes a speedy recovery for Brandon.
The Lynx wrestling team dominated the ADM Tiger Invitational last Saturday.
The boys pushed through the 12-hour day with 11 top 6 winners and 215 points, winning the tournament.
Outside of practice and tournaments, many of the wrestlers like to take advantage of snowy conditions and go skiing.
The snow can be a hassle sometimes when it comes to travel, but it can provide for a lot of sporting opportunities.
Chris Anderson happens to love the snow and has a feature about all the ways you can enjoy the winter weather.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Gee, winter sure does suck.
Chris.
Hello?
Chris.
Who are you?
I'm the ghost of winter fun.
Oh. Well, what do you want?
You should go have a snowball fight, bro.
Well, gee, that sounds fun. Let's go. Winter activities sure are fun. Now I want to see what other WCHS students have to say about them.
During the winter, I like to go bowling.
During the winter, I like to slip.
I just love crutches in the winter.
Wow, Webster City students sure are into some neat things. Now let's head on back to the studio. This has been Chris Sanders for WCTV.
Thanks, Chris. I've always been a big fan of sledding down Hospital Hill.
Me too. My favorite part is getting to drink a big cup of hot chocolate when I get home from a cold afternoon on a sled.
We're in for a warmer weekend with temperatures reaching into the 30s.
Watch the weather, however, for Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures are supposed to drop back down to the single digits.
The high school is running on a 2-hour early dismissal on Thursday.
There is no school tomorrow.
If you're on the Winterfest court, make sure you come to school on Friday to decorate the auditorium.
Both boys and girls Lynx basketball will play in Clarion tomorrow night starting at 6:15.
The next home game will be on Friday, January 31st.
That's all we have for you today. See you next week on WCTV.
Hey, family.